Not gonna lie, I'm tired of people being stupidly old, not stupidly old, what am I talking about? I hate people being boring as shit. What's up? What's up? Whoever is watching this video, I don't know who you are, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about because I just started this video and I have no idea what to say, what to do, or anything. It's quite high up. Not gonna lie, it's quite high up, right on my face. You know I can do this too. Oh yeah! I do not have ADHD, you're wrong. So, as you've seen, what many people do often online when they build an expensive car. What they do online when they buy an expensive car is use expensive parts, which you can see mostly on YouTube anywhere. And mostly these parts are like expensive for like no reason. And whenever you have a car that is from across the world, there's not a lot of parts that exist over here in my country for my car, for example, because my car is Japanese. I am Swedish. So the thing about it is, like, if there's no parts over here and it takes 2 months to get parts over here, stop being creative yourself. So I think we're gonna talk about today, which can be implied to a lot of different things, it's fabricating your own parts for your car. And it can be absolutely ridiculous, absolutely funny as hell. What we're gonna focus on today is catch tanks, oil catch tanks, because, well, I'm not gonna lie, our cars have like a oil problem. And the oil problem is not like it starves itself with oil. Well, it actually does that. Well, if you're using the Nito oil pump drive, you'll starve it. If you use the OEM one, it's fine. I can do a whole video about that, but I will refrain from doing that today. But an oil catch tank, it's something that is very necessary when it comes to track driving, because basically when you're driving on a track, your oil doesn't stay in the sump and the top is like as flat as it does when you're driving normally. It swings around like a storm in a wine glass. So what you do is you make an oil catch tank. I'm gonna run you the basis on what an oil catch tank does, and then we're gonna make a makeshift crazy ass fuck whooping of an oil catch tank itself. But that's because we have rules and laws over here to prevent us from getting the exact parts that we want. I'll explain it in a little bit later. Make sure that you're nice and clean. But what we will do is focus on this. Look, I actually have things. Man, I just ruined that, didn't I? It's not gay. Don't you dare say it's gay. Anyway, so why do I drop everything that I have? What am I? Have I been dropped downstairs that many times to actually drop everything that I have? It's like a thing I have from my childhood. I just drop things. So, an oil catch tank. Simple. Excuse me for my terrible handwriting or hand drawing. What we have here is a engine. Let's do both valve covers, because that's what we have today. Can you see that properly? Yes, you can. What we have here is that normally on every car that we have something called valve house gas. Sounds like a environmental thing, doesn't it? These gases are pressurized, because as soon as we start driving a car, we start building pressure in the top. So all the pressure goes up to the top of the engine, and in the head, it starts building pressure and gas. They need to come out. So what manufacturers do, let's make like a manifold. I just farted. How does one draw a turbo? I don't know how to draw a turbo. That is absolutely hideous. I'm making a penis, aren't I? Yeah, there we go. Penis turbo. Funny. What happens is we have pressure in here, right? We have pressure in the head. We need to get that out. So what we do is we have little ventilation holes that comes from the top of the engine, which is normal on every engine that exists today. And what manufacturers do to make the small problem quick and easy fix is they take this and route it to the intake of the engine. If you do it that, not only do you neutralize the pressure because you're creating a vacuum instead, but you also carry all the gases and all the oils to your intake that then gets again that's burnt and then sent out of the exhaust. It's an easy quick fix and it works on all the cars. The problem with that is it burns oil, it fills your turbo with gunk. If you ever seen a turbo with gunk, here's what that looks like. It's not the greatest thing to have in a turbo, you know. You also fill your intake, your throttle body, your anything that has with an engine to do. You fill that with this gunk, which is crap. Totally. Totally. So what we can do differently to remove the gunk, the oil, and everything in the intake is we have a little canister of sorts, like a little thing that we can have. That can be a can, which catches the oil. Get it? Oil catch tank. So smart. So instead of it going directly to turbo, instead we route them so they go to the oil catch tank. Then from the oil catch tank, we go back to the turbo. And that way, all the oil that comes from these hoses gets trapped in here. And all the pressure does a U-turn back into intake. And then you have clean air going into the intake. And then you have no oil in the intake. Look, a stupid idiot. So instead of lubing up yourself as P. Diddy does to every celebrity in the industry, we're creating basically a catch system for the oil catch tank. And all these systems that exist for cars anywhere and shit are expensive, like really expensive. Like you can get like a OEM oil catch tank from Nismo for my car is around like 7 to 8 grand in Swedish crowns. In dollars, it's like $700, $800 or something like that. I have no idea, but it's expensive for like a simple ass system. The only benefit that system has compared to this is it has a drainage at the bottom that goes down to the block, so you don't have to drain it, because that's the thing you have to do with oil catch tanks. You have to drain them. You can see that everything's fine. I don't have the drainage system because when you're on track and you get oil into your catch tank, it's an easy way to be like, oh, that oil is kind of rough, that oil is kind of bad, maybe I need to change it. There's a basic system of how oil catch tanks work and how you can do them on any car whatsoever. Making an oil catch tank system with parts that are not from the manufacturer or anything that's itself can be expensive if you don't know what kind of materials you're gonna use. You can do it in a very cheap way and in a way that you can have it where you live. So for the sake of the argument, let's say we're making a catch tank. We need to choose the right materials. So we go to our local car shop and we get some hose. This is like steel braided hose. And then we have a Monster can. I do not have an addiction, I swear to God. Don't tell my mom that I have an addiction to Monster. Don't tell anyone. I will die of caffeine overdose. I will do anything in my power to make sure that I will fight God in his eyes in a caffeine-fueled rage of joy. Let's say for this argument that we're using these. Material-wise, you should look at a few things. First off, when you are choosing parts or anything in that matter, make sure what temperature is getting made, shown, or whatever. If you take a look at this, is a steel braided hose. A steel braided hose, in the lining of it, is good for most parts and most things. And 100 degrees Celsius for a steel braided hose, it's fine, it's fine. The problem is the material that you're using or are using in this matter are dealing with oil. For a steel braided hose that is not secured to oil will crack. If it starts cracking, you're fucked, buddy. Because it should look like this. This is like the normal way of it being shown or whatever. This one is cracked beyond belief. This one's cracked and it has cracks that goes down in it. With that, you create a leak. Make sure that you're using the right hose for the job. The right hose for job should look something like this. This is, I was about to say heat core hose, but it's not. This is a hose that is oil resistant. And it's like safe to use for 100 degrees Celsius when it comes to the liquids and temperatures that you're using this in. Make sure you get the right hose. This one, cheap. I bought it for like 40 bucks. 40 bucks for 2 meters, it's quite good, quite well. And then we come to the catch tank itself. Now, a catch tank like this, you think like, oh, I'm only working with temperature, that's good. It means I can use this. Surely nothing bad will happen from this. You're fucking wrong. The thing is, you have to think about another thing here. So, temperature-wise, yes, this can hold up to 100 degrees Celsius. If you don't believe that it can or anything like that, if you're ever questioning about it, fill up and see what happens. If not, take some water, boil it, and then see what happens. This is good for 100 degrees Celsius. We can all agree on that. The problem is the pressure. Because you're working with turbos or you're working with intakes and stuff like that, you create a vacuum, and that vacuum will suck it in, and then this one will not do anything, which is bad, which is terrible. What can you use instead of this? You can use something like this. Sure, this one is filled with brake fluid right now, so I am not very keen on using this. This canister has a lot of density. If you think about the pressure that you're gonna use in a vacuum, like let's say for my car pulls 1.3 bars of pressure. So my guess is like, oh, if I put a 2 kilogram carton of milk on this, should be fine. This is how it is. This is how it looks like. And that you can use. An important thing when you make an oil catch tank is you have both hoses at the top. The important thing about that is you can fill this all the way up, and then you can, well, fill it and use it and blah blah. The intake hose for this oil catch tank should be longer than the outtake hose. Simple reason is that you don't want to suck up oil in the midst of it not being filled. So if you have this one a little bit further down and this part a little bit further up, you avoid that issue. That is the basis of how to create an oil catch tank. This hose, as I said, was like 40 bucks that I bought. The catch tank itself that I decided to use, I would really want to use this because this is like a good girthy size. The oil catch tank that I decided to use is not this or anything. It's even more cursed than what you should probably think about. So the oil catch tank that I decided to use instead, compared to the smart choice of doing something like cool, I decided to use a coffee cup. Dead-ass coffee cup. Look. So, I have a coffee cup right there that I have made a hole at the top so I could have these angles fittings in it. You can get those fittings also where you get the hose, because if you don't, that place fucking sucks. But you have that, and then you go from the valve covers in a hose all the way over here, and this is your intake one. So this one should be a little bit longer. I just wanted to show you how it looks like on the inside. So that should be a little bit longer, goes down, and then you have this whole thing getting filled with oil. And it's a thing that is supposed to handle a lot of heat, so I think you should be fine when it comes to it. And then you take this and go all the way around back to the intake. So I decided to have this because it's pretty cool to have like a glass to see how it is in there. That's it, legit the only reason why I decided to have this specific one. I wanted to be able to see in and stuff and like decide from there like, oh, is it working, is it not? The important thing is that you actually have being able to seal because you're working with vacuum. The more sealing you have, the better it is. And when I go on track, I have a strap that I put around this, so there's no choice of it like popping off. But there's also another reason why I decided to put it there, because over here, when it comes to car registration, having an oil catch tank is illegal. Could you believe that? So an oil catch tank is illegal, but I have made one right here. How do I decide to hide it? Welcome to Manufacturing Things Part 2, and this is how you make a shroud. So this is like the cheapest piece of metal. I actually think I got this piece of metal for free, but it's a piece of shit of metal that you have. So what you do is you shape it to the place where you want to have it. Then you just put it down like that. And then it's gone. Because look, can't see it. The only way to see it is if you go down here. Then you can see it. Even then, it's like pretty hard to do. You can be creative when it comes to oil catch tanks and different ways. I even seen people use the strut tower brace as an oil catch tank, which is actually nuts. But that's like a way to do it. There's a bunch of different ways to do it and a bunch of different ways to like make things, fix things. That's all that you need to do when it comes to oil catch tanks and stuff like that. Make sure you follow the recipe of valve covers over to an oil catch tank, from an oil catch tank back down to the intake. You actually don't need a lot of things to like make things work. This is how you make things cheap, and this is how you can like make cool shit even though you don't have money for it. You gotta think. So that was all I wanted to talk about today, to be honest. And now, I don't know. I'm gonna go and clean my car. You do whatever the fuck you want. My guess today, it's gonna be raining later today, so we'll not do a super serious wash, but we'll do a little wash because these rims are so dirty. Let's see how this